How to check timing on a RZR 1000. Take this cover off, get a Torx T40 bit, remove this screw, that screw, that screw, pull this spark plug and that spark plug out. If your RZR has this heat shield, you might have to take this bolt and that bolt off. Those are 10mm with a nut on the bottom. This one's real fun to get to. And then shift this over to the side, valve cover pops right off. Remove both spark plugs, 5/8 inch socket. That will allow you to rotate the motor over without any compression, pretty easy. Remove the outer clutch cover. Those are all 5/16 or 8mm bolts all the way around the perimeter of it. Remove this clamp, depending on what year you have. If you have a 14, you won't have this tube, but 15 and newer has that tube. That's 5/16 hose clamp. And then you're gonna take and rotate the motor by this bolt. And you're gonna rotate that counterclockwise. That bolt is a 21mm. After you have the outer housing off, you need to take off the crankshaft position sensor, which is this. Bolts on right there, 8mm socket. You will see that eye. So that's that dash that's there in the top center part of the hole. You need to align that to the top center part. That crankshaft is now in position for timing. All right, so I did a little bit of research. 2014 through 2016, timing chain center wear strips look like this. This is a 2015, this is a stock one. So the chain rides in there. You can see it's got a little bit of wear on it, but it only has surface contact in the center of the chain. 2017, Polaris redesigned it for the 1000s, and it looks like this. So side by side, these are upside down, but that's what they look like. Look how much more contact surface area that has. So this is what this one looks like when it's installed. Those are the two mounting bolts. Those bolts are what the valve cover bolts to. So you have a lot more contact surface area with the chain to try and help with the chain riding up on the timing gears. So this is an upgrade. You could put this part on 2014, 2015, and 2016. And here is the part number for it. Polaris 3022836. 2017 and newer models. This is what the 2015 model looks like next to it. So you can see how much more coverage there is of that chain with the 2017 and newer bracket. That's an original Polaris part. They just redesigned it. All right, so after the crankshaft is at top dead center with number 1 cylinder, which is this one that's on the driver's side, you can verify that it's at top dead center by making sure that that mark on the crankshaft is at I and verifying that the cylinder is all the way up. So I did that with the camera. I just stuck an inspection camera in there, made sure the cylinder is all the way up. But then also how you verify is how the camshafts are positioned. So you can see the lobes are kind of facing out. And from the side, there's a machine slot that's in those. It's kind of hard to see because everything's in the way. But see that machine slot that's right there should be surface with the head. Let me see if I can get the camera in there better. There you go. So those two slots in the camshafts, that should be flat with the top of the head. You could put a bar in there 4mm thick, or what I did, I don't have a bar that's that long, 4mm thick, but I have two 4mm Allen wrenches. So you just take these and you set them in there. You've got to take the gasket off. I've got the gasket back on, but once the gasket's off, this will slide right in there. Brace it between here and there, and then that will hold the camshaft in place. So if you have something out of time, you're going to need to put the crankshaft at top dead center, and then if you need to rotate these camshafts, take this cover off to get some tension off the chains. Take the timing chain tensioner out, which is right here. That'll release tension on the chain. And then you can rotate each one of these camshafts with a 13/16 wrench right here. You need to be careful because depending on where the pistons are at and where you're turning the camshaft, you can have interference from the valves to the piston. So you need to be careful. I suggest reading the manual. So you can get them online pretty cheap. This whole procedure I just got straight out of this manual. This is the crankshaft. Align it with I. It even specifically says do not use a V mark. Only use the I for top dead center. And then it shows you the lobes, like I said, they're facing out. And then those slots right there. And Polaris has actually got a tool that you can slide in there, but that's how you do the timing procedure right there. Way quieter now. No clicky clicker. So I think I got it fixed. I realized when editing the video I didn't clearly explain why I did what I did. So here's a quick rundown sitting in Wendy's parking lot. A few months ago the RZR started kind of rattling quite a bit on startup. And doing a bunch of research, timing chain tensioners, the OEM ones go out. They're hydraulic, so they run off of oil pressure. So I ordered from Alba Racing a Yamaha ratcheting one, put that in there. It was in there for like 1 or 2 months. And then the RZR started clanking a lot when it was just running all the time. So it was super annoying. So I took the Yamaha one out, put the factory one back in, and it didn't get any better. It kept clicking a lot, and it was all from the timing chain. So I took the engine apart, did everything that you guys just seen in the video, and I put the Yamaha one back in. I played with it a little bit. There's a bunch of videos online on how to adjust those Yamaha automatic ratcheting ones. The problem is the upper chain guide that I showed you, that was my factory one, has a little bit of wear in it, and that ratcheting tensioner can only ratchet so far. It has to have enough play in it to go like the next step of adjustment. And what was happening is it was loose enough that it was causing the chain to slap, but it was tight enough that it wouldn't let it ratchet to the next adjustment. So I replaced that upper chain guide that goes between the gears, and I put and cleaned that Alba Yamaha one, put that back in there, made sure it was adjusted tight. Now everything's quiet, so no clank on startup and no clank when it's running. So that's what I did.